Where have you been? And what are you doing in that outfit?
Superman and the Mole Men. This is a good place to start. Since debuting in Action Comics #1 in 1938, Superman's popularity soared. He quickly appeared in newspaper comic strips, radio programs, animated cartoons, and serial adventures. By 1951, a television series, Adventures of Superman, was planned. The first story shot was released to movie screens. It was to be the first theatrically released feature film based on the character of Superman. After filming wrapped, 24 additional half-hour episodes were filmed. The film was 58 minutes long and was later recut as a two-part episode for the television series retitled The Unknown People. It was shot in 12 days on the studio backlot. George Reeves makes his debut appearance as Clark Kent and Superman. He would become known as Superman for a generation of fans. Phyllis Coates stars as Lois Lane. She would play Lois only for the first season of the television series, then departed the role. Despite its B-level budget, the film is an entertaining morality tale.
There's only one person who can handle this job, and that's Superman.
The story begins as Clark and Lois arrive at the small town of Silsby to report on the world's deepest oil well. However, it's soon discovered the well has created an opening to the underground world of the Mole Men. Panic soon envelops the citizens, who instinctively form a mob with sights to kill the monsters. Fortunately, Superman is there to handle the situation and end the conflict peacefully. Superman's role is essentially one that promotes tolerance and shows the dangers of what irrational fear can do. Being made in the time of the Cold War environment and the Red Scare hysteria, the message was very topical, and it still is relevant today. The moral lesson is one that suits the Superman character and one that seems he would be a champion for. The one scene that really encapsulates this lesson is where the little girl is simply playing with the two mole men until her mother discovers them and lets out a frightened scream. It's very similar to the classic Frankenstein scene of the monster and the little girl. The special effects are rather cheap, but there is a certain charm to them. Knowing the filmmakers had a limited budget to work with, there is sincerity to how they tried to tell their story with the best they had to work with. There are some creative techniques they used. My personal favorite is the shot filming down from a boom crane and having it speed down the street to simulate Superman's flying. The makeup on the mole men themselves is pretty silly looking. They don't really look very mole-like to me, but after a while I just got used to them. I even started to feel bad for the one goofy little guy when he's running for his life.
I thought you might be ready to talk now.
George Reeves' Clark Kent is more forceful than you would expect. He's not as mild-mannered and mousy as other interpretations.
What are you hiding?
Hiding?
Well, you give the impression you're leading a double life.
Really?
Superman has a bit more aggressive edge to him, too. He's more than ready to throw someone around if they're not willing to listen.
You saved my life. That's more than you deserve.
I thought that line of dialogue was a bit un-Superman-like. As the television series went on, Reeves' Superman would become a little more relaxed.
Silsby, population 1,430, home of the world's deepest oil well. Big deal.
Phyllis Coates is a pretty darn good Lois Lane. She's got enough abrasiveness to make you think she's this tough-as-nails reporter, and she's attractive to look at.
There goes a young man with courage.
Well, I wish I could say the same for you.
I liked how she was more than willing to put Clark in his place and isn't very subtle about it. Plus, it was somewhat refreshing to see a Lois not get weak-kneed at the sight of Superman. Overall, it's not a bad little film. It's a respectable debut of the superhero film genre. I can imagine little kids watching this in 1951 and being mesmerized by it, and wanting more Superman adventures. Watching it now, it might look quaint and simple, but it is still enjoyable.
Say, you reckon that Superman fella really can fly like they say?